And we are once again back, everybody, back with another CBC podcast. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, it was a somewhat of a light week here, so more or less we got less topics, but we're gonna make the best of what we got because we got three actual good topics to discuss for the main show. They are Black Panther being recast, Battison for the DC universe, the official statement, people still don't believe it, and Spider-Man plans according to Sony. For members, we're going to talk about Deadpool caught in the middle of a Blake Lively lawsuit in a weird way, and the mutant saga details. So that's what we got for the bonus topics. Now, before we get there, of course, let's just go over some housekeeping here. Of course, it is a new year, and Tristan and I are now just planning. We're going to get back to recording more of the gaming podcast. You guys will start to see that pop up. I caught up on some video games at the end of last year, just to kind of be up to date. So, and now we got to look forward to this year. And with that in mind, of course, I'm your host, Armin. Find me over here, right there. See, right there. And I am here with Tristan.
Yeah, hey guys, link tree below. Got a video out that I scheduled, should be out today. To one of the longest videos I've ever done, at like 15 minutes of me just talking. My shop is actually open. I did get it like 2 sales already, so that's good on me.
Nice.
Oh, and I know people have been like sending messages and stuff. I'm not around the LA area, so I'm okay around like the fires. I'm like 40-50 miles away by freeway.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so you're good. Yeah. That's good because my God, it's on fire.
You'll be part of Canada soon. It's fine.
Yeah.
Take them up on their offer.
Legit though. Like I know everybody in my state is like, the moment that hit, all the comments are like, we'll go. It's like, yeah, we're already pretty much Canada, so it's how it goes. But hey, we got 2 people not in the United States, or are we? Maybe we are. I don't know. Mitch, are you from the United States?
You pointed at Tristan.
Well, okay, on my screen it's opposite, so let's go this. Like, I assume you're here now. Are you here?
Like, Tristan might not soon be from the United States. That's fine. No, thankfully I'm not from the United States. But Elon Musk seems to think he can treat us like the States. It's really weird.
Yeah,
he might get extradited soon, so who knows how that's
yeah. All right, good stuff. Stuff.
On better topics, you can find me at. I don't know if I'm even pointing at it now.
There we go. Right.
That way.
Right there.
So that way, even though it's that way on my screen. God damn it. You can find me there on the Mitch692 YouTube channel. I almost have got my own channel name there. I've been using those numbers for way too many years. Yeah, Pro Noob is back. Me and Jared, we're doing Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. So episode 1 of that's out now. 2 should be out on Monday. So I'm trying different days as opposed to Fridays from last time.
I will try to get the latest one scheduled to go up along with this podcast, maybe the day before, so you guys can see it. If not, check the community tab. It should be there. Sometimes it takes multiple attempts to post, and one of them will go through, but you can't schedule the same thing in the same day, which is YouTube, everybody. It's a fun time.
YouTube's very fun. Yeah.
Oh,
it's some stuff in the works as well, so hopefully at least one thing should be out by January.
I don't know. You guys used the what is it, inspiration tab that they have on
I've looked at it and I'm like, I'm not getting anything from it.
Yeah, I looked at it too. It is weird because I was like, wait, where are they getting these thumbnails? Oh yeah, I generated. Never mind, because there's a couple things that they showed me. Some stuff looks off, so I was like, whatever.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, in the studio.
So it's like the first thing you see when you open the studio, I think.
Yeah. It's like, it's to the right, and it'll say like inspiration. It'll give you like AI generated topics for you to potentially do if you're stuck on something.
Weird.
Yeah, it is. Give it a topic and it may generate some thing for you to talk about. So
it's like, no, I want to talk about my own thing. So no.
That's amazing. But hey, that's how it goes, I guess. The AI takeover, CES has been in full swing. I've seen some. There's definitely a lot of that.
What you mean the not switch to?
No, like, well, there's a lot of this is a thing we got, and soon you'll be able to own it. But you're never going to be able to own this. It's like those concepts from like 2005. You're like, oh, they're like, this is going to be here by the end of the decade, and it's still not here. Like,
yeah,
I saw one of like hey, drive this car up, and then the back of your car just transforms into a helicopter. You can fly out, and it's like that's never going to exist in practical use. Like,
No.
no,
People can't
like,
even drive. How the hell are they going to fly a helicopter? Like, come on, now, be serious.
yeah. It's
Kim
Ugh.
Kardashian might have one and then never use it again. That's the extent of it.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but CES, yeah, it's going on. There's technology, but we're not here to talk about technology. We're here to talk about other stuff. So I guess we're just gonna get straight into the first topic, everybody. So let's have at Black Panther being recast.
Shock.
The latest reports. So this is an interesting one because when Chadwick died, there was like a year of, hey, we don't know what's going on, what decision they're going to make, what's going on with Black Panther. And then obviously we got the confirmation they are not recasting. They were going to explain in the film in Wakanda Forever what happens to T'Challa. Of course, you've seen the opening of the film, he dies. And then here we go. During that entire time, there was a campaign. It really started off with E-Man Movies, and I had him on the show, for a podcast, an interview. And he was kind of like one of the first being like, don't ditch T'Challa, recast him because this sets a bad precedent for the future of everything. And since then, we've seen actors pass away and they've been recast. But again, T'Challa was like a weird situation. And now a lot of people are just going, you should have just recast, to honor T'Challa and Black Panther Chadwick Boseman himself, so I can kind of see why maybe they admit defeat because like T'Challa's story was not over. Like we had so many more comic book things to do, it was weird.
It's a tough one because I think for the immediate movie that was coming out, I think not recasting was the right choice. I think that's totally fair enough. You had, it's not like the movie's bad.
Right.
Like most people love that movie. I think the kid, I understand what they were going for with the junior and the legacy thing, and then you'll live on in like the next generations or whatever. Fine. I think if all went better in the MCU, you kind of should have been like, we'll just recast him after Secret Wars because it's Secret Wars. It's the big reset, right? So it's fine there. Obviously, I get why they didn't want to say that because you're kind of telling people what's going to happen later down the line. But you would never know if that was always the plan or not now.
And also,
we got what they say. It's like, we do. Obviously, you just bow.
Right. And you got to account for the pandemic, which is unfortunate because had the pandemic not happened, right now we could be looking at Black Panther 4 because the idea was new Black Panther every 2.5 years. The pandemic delayed Wakanda Forever so much. And then, we would have already had Secret Wars. It'd be out already. We'd be past Secret Wars right now had the pandemic not happened. So, like, we're in a different position. So the T'Challa scenario to me was kind of like, we know he was their golden boy. He was going to be the new Iron Man. And then everything got thrown sideways.
Like I'm of two minds here. On one end, I get why they didn't want to, and they wanted to shelf T'Challa because of the people that are working on the project. They have the right to feel how they felt when Boseman passed away. But on the opposite end, it's kind of disservice to T'Challa as a character himself because it sets a precedent that you can replace or recast all these other characters of other nationalities and stuff, but you can't do it for this black man that's like one of the most iconic characters or people of color ever in comics. You can't do it for some reason. That's what some people felt some type of ways that for whatever reason they can't just recast them after a set amount of years to have the people grieve and have time to process everything that you could have T'Challa come back in a way. And that's why some people, from what I've seen, some people didn't like the way that they did it to where they had T'Challa the second is the secret child come up and say, oh, you're gonna have their version of T'Challa. I'm like, that wasn't really the way to go, even though there technically is a child of T'Challa. It's his name usually it's a boy. His name is not T'Challa II. It's some other one, but it's usually a child of him and Storm. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
It was a tough one, right? It's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
is
it's
now.
tough.
Like,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
even their whole reasoning for not doing it is, it's not coming from like a place of malice that I think a lot of people automatically took it from. And
Mhm.
if you did that, it's fair enough. But it was a lose-lose no matter what they did.
Yeah.
It was such a horrific situation for them to be in. Obviously, it's worse for the family and the friends, naturally, but from a studio standpoint alone, which is what I'm talking about, then I didn't envy that in the slightest. But
Yeah, and like give it enough time, I think people will be more accepting of it. Certainly, I've seen people change their tune, and like like you said, you got Secret Wars coming up. It's a natural reset point of everything, so you can kind of, I guess, look at the temperature of the room and go, well, how do we proceed forward? And I think that that's sort of like the ability that they got now. So I assume it's going to go the way that I think most people think it's going to go. The recasting, I think, will be post Secret Wars, and maybe test Secret Wars with that actor, like they tested Black Panther in Civil War. Like after his huge
I think
success,
you're
they
going
were
to
like,
get sequels.
"Oh."
You're going to get a good few Black Panthers.
Exactly, and be like, which one resonates the best with people? Like 2 to 3 would make sense.
Which might not be a good way to do it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
do whatever. Yeah, they didn't even need Secret Wars technically. You just have a time jump, but it depends how far you want to jump forward in your own timeline. But
Right, because they gave us like a 4-year buffer, almost a 5-year buffer, but then the pandemic happened. So again, maybe Secret Wars could legit be like, hey, we're jumping 10 years. Let's give ourselves a buffer. Let's age people up. Let's bring these actors like again, it's an interesting thing to think about when it comes to this whole idea. So, I don't know. I feel like whatever decision they make, there's always going to be blowback, like,
yeah, because now it's just going to be seen as, oh, the Wakanda Forever failed and that idea failed. You just listen to everyone because you want the money for T'Challa back. Well, we're not going to go see it. So.
And that's like another weird thing is that like Chadwick Boseman is not he's not the one and only T'Challa, where there's different iterations of T'Challa out throughout the years that he's been in comics. So saying that, oh, there can never be another T'Challa is just disingenuous, in that you're right to feel the way you feel, but the character of T'Challa always lives on, no matter who is playing that role. So,
which was supposed to be the entire point of the kid, right? The idea and the concept of this character is always going to be around, but maybe
I
not
think
done the best. But
the problem they run into, like, if you bring the kid in as T'Challa, right? Here's the next film then. Hey, I'm T'Challa. Oh, okay. You got to fight for the right to the throne. Okay, let's fight at the waterfalls. Oh, look, there's an outside force. It's like, so you're just going to rehash Black Panther 1? Like, oh my God. Like, there is such a tough
which would be for the third
with...
time, because the second one was just Black Panther 1 as well.
Again, yeah. It was just like swap in another character. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I trust Cougar is going to do good here. He clearly cares, he's got a big deal with Disney, and like,
I think Wakanda Forever shows that he clearly cares.
Oh yeah.
That entire movie, he's like, yeah, I actually give a shit. But
yeah, it's amazing. Like, I really love that film. Obviously, it's years removed now, and we're waiting for the next one. We know it's happening. We know Denzel Washington's in it. So there we go. Give Denzel Black Panther role. Let's see how he does.
And why not?
Multiverse it.
It would be interesting after Secret Wars to see how they go with it, because for people who don't know, during Secret Wars, towards the end, T'Challa goes back in time and tells his ancestors to go to space, and then you get the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. And essentially,
that started.
Because I was looking back on it, I was like, how did that happen again? Because I remember him technically go back in time, but I don't really understood it. But once I read it back again, is that he went back in time and told some young ones about, instead of staying on Earth, go to space.
Yeah.
Then that's how that stuff starts. So,
oh man. Well, with that out of the way, again, you guys can let us know how you feel about this. I'm pretty sure we'll find out an answer soon enough in regards to what their plans are, because they're working on Black Panther 3, and that's definitely coming after Secret Wars. So the details will get out there.
What's it be in between the two Avengers movies?
Oh my God. Could you imagine? That's how they test the Black Panthers all over the place. It's just the Battle World film.
Instead of having like the Thor Corps,
Yeah. Panther Corps. Yeah.
I was going to say the Panther Patrol, but I'm not entirely sure that's
right
in my head. But
it is what it is. So we'll be back to talk more about this when we find out more. So stay tuned. Let's talk about a weird 48-hour period for Robert Pattinson's Batman. Because first you had Matt Reeves doing a round of interviews, and he's like, well, we've definitely discussed it. And if it makes sense, we'll see if Robert Pattinson plays Batman in the DCU for DC Studios, because if we got a good idea, we can do it. Not 36 hours go by, Andy Muschietti goes out there. Robert Pattinson is not my Batman. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And then he leaves it at that. And you're like, huh. Now the only one we need is James Gunn. And the previous statement he made like 4 days ago was, well, we definitely considered it. So it all depends on what we do. So you're like, boy, I don't think the three of them have sat down and discussed this.
No.
Yeah, I think someone was taken by surprise and said, no, I don't know anything about any of this, idea of trying to merge Peterson's Batman into the DCU. So,
well, it was after that Muschietti revealed he has not actually talked to James Gunn about that film since The Flash came out and he was hired to write it.
I'm shocked.
So it's been almost 2 years. Like, he hasn't actively talked about it. He's just been working on a script and they haven't sat down. So I'm not fully dismissing yet that this Batman is out of question, that Pattinson is out of question. And for people wondering, how would they do that? You could just say that Superman takes place in 2033, 2034 or something. Batman takes place in 2022, which is the year it takes place in, and be like, yeah, he was one of the first, but after that, there was an explosion of heroes. They were all over the place. You just didn't really see them because they were so contained in the Batman. And to go with it,
you just do what Iron Man did. You just do your own thing and then just input
like
everything.
It literally worked with Iron Man. Like, that's a prime example. Like, Iron Man was at first intended to be a standalone thing, and there's interviews with Robert Downey Jr. when they were like, hey, do you think you're gonna ever be part of the Avengers? Because we heard that's a thing. And he was like, I don't think that can work, because how do you cross over with the Hulk? And then he cameos in the Incredible Hulk. Like, Pattinson's Batman can work, but you're going to have to really play with the timeline and how these films, come out and what happens.
And convince everyone to be on the same page for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this one.
Right? Because, like, I imagine they do the Batman Part 3, right? And that's a sequel to Batman Part 2 and whatever TV series they got there. But then you would have Pattinson's Batman 15 years into the future in his career, like being a more grizzled Batman with a son. So you're like, you kind of got to bridge the, like, it's still, it would be hard. But if there's a guy running a studio that can do it, it's James Gunn. Like, he could figure this out.
I think that's glazing Gunn a bit too much.
I don't know. I think he could do it. Like, Guardians 2, never mind. That makes me doubt.
Guardians 2. He very much could well do it. He hasn't done anything so far that shows that he can. I think just, personally, outright saying that, he can definitely do it. It's like, I'm not so sure.
Well, out of the current cream of the crop of producers, I think he's the one most capable of doing it. I should put it that way.
Most capable, yes. Agreed. Because he's over at DC and WB.
I think the whole reason why this is coming out is, like, someone made the suggestion that the casual audience is going to be confused by two Batman. Are they in the same timeline or part of the same universe and stuff like that? And that's probably where all this is coming from. They're getting all the ideas of saying maybe we can merge Peterson's Batman into the DCU so we don't have that confusion with people.
And even Andy Muschietti just said that in another interview. He said, so you can't get Brave and the Bold within the same calendar year. So let's Batman, the Batman Part 2 comes out October 27. You can't get Brave and the Bold by October of 28. It needs to be after that. So more than likely spring. So you're looking at 28, 29 to give it a buffer. again, we're far away from Brave and the Bold Batman. That's the only thing I'm hearing from this. And at
We're
that
far
time,
away from the entire rest of that DCU slate.
yeah, outside the two supers, we are. It really feels like it's still 5 years away from being in full swing. Like we're still in that MCU. Here's one, and then Iron Man 2 happened. Then there was nothing the year after Iron Man 2, and then we got Cap and Thor the following year. So it's like it feels like we are really at that point to get to, hey, you're getting 3 projects a year minimum, and like Batman is definitely going to be affected by it because you're going to need that crossover. But we're probably going to have Superman Part 2 before we get Brave and the Bold, which again is a little weird.
Probably, yeah.
You know, it's man.
I say if you're gonna make Pattinson the Batman for the DCU, have it so what Reeves is doing is kind of a prequel. Like, as you were saying earlier, I mean, like have that those 3 movies or whatever be before Superman. Brave and the Bold is in line with the Superman movie and everything. So we've got a set before, you know, you can end 3 with Damien or whatever being born, and then bang, you got Brave and the Bold right there. Right, let's just let Reeves do it, say it's in the thing, and then just carry on going forward.
And that's also like, since the rumors are still persisting, they want to shoot Batman Part 2 and 3 back to back or relatively close back to back. You could then wrap up this trilogy by 2030. Relative, like maybe even 2029, like if it's a 2-year buffer between them shot sequentially, that would free you up to be like, okay, now here, Robert, go, I don't know, put on a little beard, get a little bigger. You're now older Batman. We're aging you up 15 years. It's like, sure.
The only thing I hope that they don't do is Damien, the origin behind Damien's birth, because there's 2 variants to that. Yeah, they're both.
So you don't want Talia to sexually assault Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, there's that one, or the creepier version where she takes his DNA and does it herself, and he's like, wait, what now?
Either one of those is going to be questionable. So like, but this is James Gunn. I mean, he literally started his career shooting exotic movie stars, let's put it that way, doing exotic things and interviewing them on the end of the year awards for the best exotic stars of certain films and genres. So James, if there's one director that's going to put that in there, it's going to be James Gunn. It's like, we do the thing where she does the thing. It's like, this is a little uncomfortable, James, but I get what you're doing. You can make a message out of it, you know? Be like, be careful out there, men and women. You never know. It's like, all right, it's sure.
So, they may be crazy.
Yeah. Yep, it'll be interesting. So whatever happens with Pattinson, I think we're all kind of on the same page. If they do it, do it. If they don't, okay, another Batman, cool. Like, sure. I just want it to be good. That's all I ask for.
Yeah. That's where I am at this point. I don't care. Just give me a good Batman movie.
Yeah. That's all that's all the fans want. A good Batman movie, like, you know, and there you go. So
and just take Machete off of the movies.
Yeah.
How he's not in jail after The Flash, I don't know. And directly jail, I should say, not actual physical jail.
Right, but like DC jail, yeah. So stay tuned. We'll talk more about this because there will be more. Our final topic here, we're going to talk about Spider-Man, Sony's plans, MCU plans, big old updates. Boy, there's been a lot. So from what I gather, apparently the script, again, major rewrites are happening. That's the report across the industry. And
for Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Cool, scrap it. It's never going to come out. Scrap it.
Yeah,
scrap
totally me shocked after everything that went down in the reveal and what's been happening with Sony Pictures lately. I wouldn't be shocked that they're still trying to figure out.
Well, didn't they just get rid of someone?
Yeah, they got rid of one of the higher ups, one of the CEOs for the.
Yep,
I can't remember who it was.
Actually,
exactly
2 CEOs in the first week of January have left, and they were both connected to Spider-Man as well. So,
classic.
I feel like this is Feige doing an invisible, hostile takeover of Spider-Man, and Sony doesn't even see it coming.
Well,
possibly. It could just be Sony being like, "You are losing us so much money.
Yeah,
you haven't made money in like a decade."
Because from that, it's usually one side wants to help out with all the plans and stuff, and the other one's like, your plan's stupid. No, we're gonna do it my way because it's proven, and that's the bottom line for the most part, and it's just going over and over. And then it even evolves into not just Spider-Man, but Sony Pictures as a whole, where they're greenlighting movies even further from their video games catalog, and potentially it's not going to be like an adaptation. They're going to change it because they technically can, because the casual audience wouldn't know any better, but
Right.
you want the fans to go there and to give just something good about saying that it may not be what's in the game, but it's an adaptation and it's a good movie of that. So some things can change and stuff like that.
We'll say
but
you can
not
go two
as long.
directions, and we've had those two directions in the last year. You can
Yeah.
have Halo, or you
Yeah.
can have Fallout.
Yep.
And
Neither of
mostly-
those directed, adapted anything, but one was really damn good and won awards. The other one,
Yeah. The other one's Halo.
we all know where Sony's going to go with everything. But
Oh, we know. Oh, we know where Sony's going.
that
we can
direction
see-
can
Yeah.
absolutely work, is what I'm saying.
Ray Charles can see what direction they're going. Okay,
Yeah,
like come on.
because especially because with the last couple of movies, like with that, it's really weird. It's like I think one of the first ones was the Ratchet and Clank movie. They had a good direct.
They made a movie of that.
Yeah, it's the animated movie. You forgot about that.
And remember, like,
even though they came
yeah,
out,
remember there was a entire Sly Cooper series that got shelved.
Yeah, it was basically they had a good direction. It was CGI, really good, but they had you had a higher meddling to where they wanted, instead of the actual writers from the game to write the scripts, they want it to be just like a really cookie cutter animated story that no one would really want because it was boring. Then
that gets theatrical release.
yeah, and then the Sly Cooper movie that they were going to do, which Ramin said, got shelved because it just wasn't going anywhere because of the Ratchet and Clank thing. That
So,
they didn't
It
get
was
the
weird
writers
because,
for it.
like,
Yeah.
Sony did Sly Cooper. They started as a movie, and then
went
they
to a
had
TV
so much
show.
work, they pivoted to a TV show. They completed half of it fully, and we're working on the second half of 52 episodes, and then just shelved it, and it's never been seen. You're like,
Yeah,
that's wild. That is Sony would
Yeah.
put out. Sony will willingly put out Madam Web and Kraven, but not Sly Cooper.
yeah, and that's what it was. It's just weird.
I mean, Sly Cooper is not in their best books at the minute. Let's be honest.
True.
and then
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But back to Spider-Man, this is what they're getting at, is that a lot of people that are making the decisions are not shouldn't be making the decisions as what it's been planned, that
Yeah.
don't have the best interests of the IP or have a genuine passion to want the best for that particular IP. This namely be Spider-Man. We've seen it time and time again to where people butt heads, and you more or less don't get the product that you should be getting. Because
Right.
who would want another multiverse Spider-Man movie? Because people have been clamoring for a quote unquote street level, to where he's not so much trying to save the universe, he's trying to save part of the city usually, which is a lot more in his wheelhouse.
Right. And that's like the whole Sony thing factoring into this as well. Like, you're thinking about the bigger picture we have here, and Sony did state, well, yeah, we're done with our standalone universe, but we're not, because we're just going to reset it. Now we can use Spider-Man. And it's like, they're definitely going to do something to pivot. Like, there's the rumor that they're looking at potentially using other Spider-Men, like a Spider-Punk or something like that in their films.
I say,
Whoever
this
they
is going
use,
to be a direction now. It's going to be the different
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
yeah.
You'll get a
And-
2099. You'll get
and
Spider-Man.
and the whole
live
thing
action
about
Miles
that
Morales
is
stuff.
that a lot of them don't have that much material to work off of,
Right. Yep.
which
Neither do the villains, but we still had three.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's just probably going to rehash. It's going to be a rehash of the villains, but it's just some spider variant that has like 4 to 6 issues to work with, and they're trying to make it up as they go.
But
Right.
at least with that, you can do all these Spider-Man movies, and then you can have a live-action Spider-Verse movie, and actually use Null.
Yeah, okay.
Are they that smart?
No, they would probably
Yeah.
they'd probably switch out Spider-Verse and make it Venomverse. It'd just be a whole bunch of Venom.
Nah, you make it Spider-Verse, and then you can have the animated Miles in there as well.
Yeah.
But you think that, but they would definitely go with the Venomverse.
Oh, they absolutely would, yeah. But I'm just saying, how I would do it personally is that way. What Sony would do, I can't think of.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they are doing what Sony does best, and they're trying to put pressure on Marvel, which is what's holding up Spider-Man. And again, any scenario where if they choose to put Tom Holland Spider-Man into their films, will just taint Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU. So no matter what you
Tom
put
would
out,
do it anyway. The way Tom's talking about everything in a minute, he's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You would hope, you know, you would, but
He'll fake a pregnancy test and be like, look, I'm sorry, I'm retired. No, gotta go.
Man, yeah, got to get out of here. He'll only work for Papa Bob.
Well, with the next few projects, we'll see how Spider-Man for the MCU pans out. Hopefully, what Spider-Man Noir is kind of good.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be. Let's be honest.
You want to hope because
prediction. It's going to be their best non-MCU offering, which isn't a high bar, but still, that puts it at a 7 tops out of 10. So, you know,
we'll see.
Yeah,
which technically isn't that hard for a noir TV series that much because
not for them, but it's hard for Sony.
I know it's like 'cause he's more of a detective than anything, which is kind of easy. Detective with superpowers. There you go.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, basically.
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of insane how things got to where they are, but at least like we'll find out more about Spider-Man, I suppose, soon enough, because like there's so little outside of Sony just trying to get their way, and like if they get their way, they get their way, I guess. We'll see what happens, but I assume Spider-Man.
The only saving grace right now is they know without the Feige involvement with the Spider-Man movies, they will not be making any money.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like no, we can no longer lose this side of it, so we have to keep that bit going, but we have to have our own thing as well. So,
Yep.
We'll see how this pans out.
I suppose we will. So, guess that'll bring us to the end of that conversation. So that is the end of the show because we only had 3 topics, like I said. 2 for members. We're going to talk about Deadpool being involved in a weird way in a lawsuit. We're going to talk about Mutant Saga. And then, of course, stay tuned on the community tab to see more videos from all of us pop up whenever they pop up. And I suppose that's it. Yeah, if they pop up. Yeah, there's always a chance they might not. But then just go to the channels, go to the link trees there and find all of us. So I suppose thank you, everybody, for watching. And, well, we'll be back next week, hopefully with more topics. We'll see.